One.
Have a seat. Utsav.
Thank you.
So, Utsav, you are from Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh.
Yes, sir. I have been living in Varanasi for past 3.5 years.
3.5 years. And otherwise, you are born in Bihar,
Yes.
Patna. And your optional is geography.
Yes.
Your BE mechanical engineering.
Yes.
And you are working as engineer,
Yes,
drawing a handsome salary of 3,60,000 rupees per month.
No, sir. That was a mistake on mentioning part. That was a yearly salary, sir.
Oh.
And I had informed UPSC regarding that, and they have also changed it accordingly. So that is.
And you have been student representative also, tech fest in colleges you have taken part,
Yes, sir.
jogging, reflective writing, and listening to audiobooks.
Yes, sir.
So 3.5 years in Varanasi.
Yes.
So tell us something about the Prime Minister's constituency. Why is it famous?
Sir, it is one. Varanasi has a long history, sir. It is one of the oldest living city in the entire world, sir, in top 10. Apart from that, sir, it has been a place of significance, religious significance, not only for Hinduism, as it is one of the 12 Mahajyotirlingas, and apart from that, it is also Mahashakti Peeth. We also have places like Sarnath, which is of significance for Buddhism. And thus, sir, Varanasi is popularly known as microcosm of India because it reflects the diversity which India has. Apart from that, sir, recently we also have various developmental projects, whether it is Jal Vikas Marg project or development of our GI tag Banarasi Sari. Due to its holistic socio-cultural and economic significance, Varanasi is today very important in parts of eastern Uttar Pradesh.
Any famous spiritual persons from Varanasi?
Tulsidas ji, sir, composed Ramcharitamanas there.
Okay.
Apart from that, we also have Adi Sankaracharya ji, who established Shaivism from Banaras. We also have Parasnath ji, who was 23rd Tirthankara of Jainism. Sir. So we have significant people. Sir.
Kabir.
Ji, yes, sir, Kabir. Ravidas ji.
Ma, Anandamayi Ma, the famous spiritual lady. Anyway, okay. Now, the Prime Minister also went to go to a temple. Before Vishwanath temple, he visited another temple. And can you name that temple again of Shiva? And that is a very, very famous temple. And every functionary has to pay his obeisances there before assuming any charge. The collector or the superintendent of police, everyone who goes there to Varanasi is posting, he has to first of all go there. That particular place is so respected. What is that?
If I may guess, sir, Kal Bhairav temple.
Kal Bhairav. Absolutely. It is also called as Shahar Kotwal.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now tell me, the rating of air conditioners, is specified in tons.
Yes, sir.
Why? Why in tons?
Sir, tons, actually it is the volume of air that air condition cools, and based on that, sir, amount of power consumed for a given volume of air is what determines the cooling capacity and rating of the.
Is there any history attached to this? Why it used to be called as tons? Anything to do with melting of ice? Because in older times, the cooling was done by ice. So 1 ton of ice, how much temperature drop can it produce? That it's related to that. You can read more about it. Okay, so tell us one or two other things which I was wanting to ask you. That supposing you are posted as district magistrate for environment, you see. So polythene bags, for example. What will you do to ensure that polythene bags are not used by the people?
Sir, one thing that can be done is that to replace polythene bags, we need a cheaper and durable alternative for that, sir. One has been use of paper bags, sir. That is at the same rate we get it. Even in big marts, we are seeing that they are replacing it with handmade paper bags. So that way, if we provide an alternative before removing polythene bags, so I think in that way we can generate awareness, and also people will.
So awareness, will it come as such, or some punitive action will also be required to be done? People will automatically shift to non-polythene bags.
Sir, I think, sir, that this behavioral change is witnessed, sir. Today, when we go to outside to purchase anything, sir, we find that if there is a sustainable bag provided, sir, we don't even ask for polythene bags. We take our own cloth-made polythene bag. So punitive action can work for larger corporates, sir, who are not, and we have plastic waste management rule for that. But at ground level, at local people level, sir, I think it is much better that if there is a behavioral change and we allow people to use it.
Okay, so Varanasi was also declared as a smart city.
Yes.
So, do you think the smart city project has it been successful in India so far? Almost 8 years have passed since the Prime Minister announced smart city, and he said that Varanasi will be made into a Kyoto city. So why is it not been successful in the India as such, the smart city concept, or do you think it is successful?
Sir, especially the greenfield or urban rejuvenation project, sir, has in a smart city, that was one of the component of it, sir. It has gone through some bottlenecks. People are reluctant to upgrade their infrastructure, or there has been issues of approvals, clearances. Especially, there was a report in which Agra was also declared as a smart city, sir, and then there was issue of very slow progress in which the old infrastructures are being upgraded. Apart from that, sir, in common infrastructure, for example, upgradation of solid waste or development of roads, green traffic, I think there has been progress, sir, but little more needs to be done.
Okay, Namami Gange project of Varanasi, has it yielded any results?
In Varanasi city, sir, actually it has yielded results, sir. We witnessed that cleaning of ghats have been witnessed, sir. Ganga is particularly cleaner. Apart from that, we also witnessed that it has become a people movement, sir. Students earlier who in their holidays, schools organize outings, and people, young children come and clean the ghats and all. In that way, sir, it has been, at least in Varanasi, it has been very successful.
Okay, last question is, give one example of judicial activism, one example of judicial overreach, one example of judicial adventurism.
So one example of judicial activism will be Vishaka guidelines.
Okay.
And for judicial overreach, sir, recently they had banned this selling of liquor along national highways. I think that was overreach.
And
judicial adventurism, sir, I would think that recent LLB, the Jolly LLB ban was unwarranted, and that was a territory which Supreme Court has never chartered before. So I think that is an example of adventurism.
Anything in COVID-19?
Very, very important. Everybody knows. Even judges may be knowing.
What happened?
I'm sorry, sir.
Some orders were passed by judges regarding oxygen cylinders.
Yes, sir.
That was adventurism. Thank you.
You have not opted for your home state. What are the reasons?
Sir, it has been only 3.5 years I have been living in Varanasi, sir. For most of my life, I was living in Bihar only. My father was posted there. So serving all states are equally good, sir. But if given an opportunity, I associate myself with Bihar, and I would like to serve in Bihar.
So both are good.
Yes.
Can you compare actually Bihar and UP?
Sir, Bihar and UP as a whole, sir, UP today we see a upward trend in development, sir. As far as if you look ease of doing business ranking, Uttar Pradesh is second. If you look at infrastructure development projects, we have so many projects coming up, sir. And whether it is digital penetration, physical infrastructure penetration, UP is doing good, sir. Bihar still is it is on the path of development, sir, but much more needs to be done at all fronts, sir.
So you will be needed there.
I feel, sir, I can contribute positively.
And on social parameters?
Social parameters too, sir. And because we witnessed that even though in recently, sir, a Sustainable Development Index reflected that Bihar is doing particularly well as far as health is concerned. But still, sir, number of...
Now you are balancing actually, because earlier you took side of UP. Now since you are going to Bihar, so you have to say something good about Bihar.
No, sir. Actually, it was mentioned in the report, sir, that it is one of the front where Bihar is doing good. There has been a strengthening of rural infrastructure and sanitation and drinking water, which was a very big issue. Recently, it has highlighted that it has made very good progress. It is one of the leading states in the entire country.
So is prohibition a parameter or a criteria for a good developed modern state?
Sir, in Bihar, we witnessed that due to prohibition, various reports highlight that there has been increased disposable income. Apart from that, we also witnessed that home violence and investment in infrastructure has increased due to prohibition, sir.
On the other side of the story?
True, sir. There has
what is that other side?
Sir, other side of
effects of prohibition?
Sir, there has been other side of the story, sir. For example, we have this illegal means cross-border transport of liquor. Apart from that, we also have this hooch and spurious liquor being sold. So there are issues, sir. I think that in short term,
but something more than that, very important from administrative point of view.
Loss of revenue has also been an issue, sir.
Yeah. Then what else?
Corruption in
some. Pardon?
And there has been issue of nexus and smuggling of liquor. I think that is also an issue, sir.
Yeah. Workload.
Yeah, exactly, sir. Recently, Supreme Court has highlighted that due to liquor sales, sir, the occupancy rate in the jails have been over 200%, and workload has also increased on the state judiciary, and it has become untenable for the judiciary to...
Only on judiciary, or there is some other
functions? All functions, whether it is police, whether it is judiciary, whether it is administration, all functions.
Okay. Now tell me, during COVID, one segment which is most affected and the underprivileged category is children, particularly the orphans. So what is the institutional mechanism for the welfare of orphans in India?
So we have Ministry of Women and Child Development, sir, which takes care of the development of children. Apart
orphans? Sure.
Including orphans, sir.
No, now I am talking only about orphans.
Okay, sir. We have this, I am not able to recall the full form, sir, CARA, which is Adoption Authority, sir. And
CARA comes actually for the adoption part. Good.
Yes,
yeah.
So which takes care of adoption, and recently we also witnessed that there has been amendment to it which allows district magistrate to authorize for adoption.
But that solves problem of actually very limited number of orphans, and that too actually when they are young, they are in the age group of say 0 to maybe 2 years or 3 years. But when they are actually, you see, they cross 5, 6, 7 years, then what is the institutional mechanism for their protection and welfare?
Sir, as far as I can recall, there are various schemes, and apart from that, we also have shelter homes which are established by the state government.
They are called shelter home or something else, and there is legislation related to that.
I just have to look.
Anyway, you study about that. My last question. Indian Police Service is your second preference. What are the acts and special laws from where actually a police officer draws its power?
One could be, sir, Criminal Procedure Code, sir. Another is Indian Penal Code. And thirdly would be, sir, I think these two are the major laws for which. Or Constitution of India also
Constitution of India is always there for everyone. Special laws, yes. There are special
For
laws,
different
no?
sections of
Different
people.
sections.
Which are the vulnerable sections? Think.
Dozens actually, not one or two.
Women, tell, now you tell.
Okay, sir. Then we have various, for scheduled caste we have protection of atrocities against scheduled caste. Sir.
Yeah.
Then we also have prevention of, for prohibiting untouchability, we have also one law under Article 1955 law. Sir.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we also have for women dowry related cases, anti-dowry case, or home related violence also we have various cases.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Utsav, let's first understand your name, Utsav. Why do we have so many festivities in India? Does it serve any purpose? Nowhere else in the world people have so many festivities. Every week or two there will be some festivity in India.
Sir, India as a civilization, sir, has an organic evolution, sir, and we have different races, cultures, and sections. And this assimilative nature of our country, sir, allows for peaceful coexistence of diversity. This allows that people to celebrate their own festival and their own versions of festivals, sir. This is for this reason I think that our country has so many festivals.
Mm-hmm. So what does it contribute? The festivities contribute something.
Yes, sir. Festivity, sir, has various contributions. One is social contribution. It contributes to social capital. Sir, Utsav is generally has three connotations, or festival has three connotations. Sir. One is interlooking into ourselves or self-purification. One is social capital, and another is spiritual benefit. So it benefits us, it benefits society, and it also benefits.
Very good. And it also brings a lot of enthusiasm in the society. Okay, now there are many schemes for development of, or for protection and development of women. The gender inequality has been a problem in India. So to bring the women at the same status as men are, what are the prominent schemes which have been introduced in various parts of the country or at the center? Can you name 4 or 5 schemes which are designed for the welfare and protection of women?
Sir, government has taken a life cycle approach for development of women, from childhood to adulthood to marriage. For protection of child, there is no female feticide. We have protection of prenatal anti to prevent female feticide. There is a law, sir. Apart from that, we have Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Andolan, sir, which aims to provide incentive for delayed marriage. Apart from that, sir, we also have recently we have, to promote employment of women, we have this scheme which talks about sir, in maternity benefit leave to women, sir. Apart from that, at old age pension also, sir, especially the widow, we have various schemes. For example, Pradhan Mantri Vayoshri Yojana, sir, which talks about 60 plus LIC provides this. So we think that, I feel that, sir, there has been range of schemes at various levels of women which aims to empower them.
And the abolition of 3 talaq, is it a good step for the well-being of Muslim ladies?
Sir, I think that, sir, different marriage laws or any civil law for different sections of the society in different religion again across women is violation of right to equality, sir, because it is not an intelligent differential created, sir. In that way, triple talaq removal is a positive step towards women empowerment.
Okay. Now you have taken geography as one of your subjects. So can you tell me what is the difference between hurricane, cyclone and tornado?
So these are 3 nomenclatures, sir, across different regions, sir. For example, hurricanes are generally called in Atlantic Ocean, sir, and strike the North American coast. Tornado is generally, sir, cyclones are classified in India and Southeast Asia. Tornado is another type of low pressure circulation which is generally developed in North America, sir, and it has higher speed, it has lower radius, and it has higher destruction capacity.
Yeah, so tornado is much more violent.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, there was one state, which is a state of US, was sold by another country to US some time back. What was that?
Alaska, sir.
Alaska.
Alaska was shown.
Sold.
Yes.
When was it sold?
I'm not aware of the date, sir, but Russia has sold it to US.
In which year? Approximate.
Maybe after Second World War, sir, so 1940.
No, it was 1867 or 66. Okay. Now, my last question is, in 2014, Russia, occupied Crimea and took possession of it. And since then, it is part of Russia. Why did Russia do that? What was the underlying reason for Russia to do that?
Sir, the Black Sea region, sir, has always been considered as Russia as a very strategic location. It is a gateway to the Mediterranean. It is gateway to the other regions because Arctic still is to develop into a sustainable navigation route, sir. So in that way, sir, Russia has been very particular about Crimea and its locations, for example, Sevastopol and all these regions, sir. Once we witnessed that Ukraine's polarization was shifting towards the West, Russia was little bit intimidated or was skeptical of this stance, and it thought it would be best in its interest to protect this Black Sea region. And I think for this reason, sir, it took position of.
Yeah, so this is the warm water port,
Yes,
which is very important for Russia. Thank you.
So, do you generally smile so much, or is there a good day?
Sir, I am sorry, but I generally smile.
It's lovely. It's a beautiful habit because it really lightens up. Lovely. Utkarsh, Utsav, I have a few follow-up questions to your answers. You said CARA was recently amended so that the district magistrate would have the powers to decide on adoption instead of the judiciary. Was CARA amended, or is it a part of the rules?
Yes, sir, it is true. A part of the rules was amended.
Then rules don't have to be amended. Rules have to be not
Changed.
to be amended. They have to be passed through the parliament. They don't have to be passed through the parliament. The Women and Child Development Ministry can simply notify. Okay, good. Two, you said that one of the examples of adventurism was Johnny LLB, because the Supreme Court or the judiciary has never done this before. It was banned in a few cases. So the judiciary has never banned a film in its history before. Is that why it is adventurous?
No, sir, actually, as far as I remember, sir, in Jolly LLB case, it was not the ban, sir. Supreme Court advised cuts in the film.
Correct.
That these things must be cut, and that was transgressing of Central Board for Film Certification
Has
power.
it not happened before? Has the court never advised for cuts before Johnny LLB?
So, as far as I remember, this was the first time. I'm not very
This
sure.
was the first time.
I'll just look into it.
I think there have been previous cases also. Third, you mentioned that there are some incentives that are given under Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao for education and so that they don't get married early. What are these incentives under Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao?
So there is a cash incentive that is provided. If I'm not wrong, 6,000 rupees for the initial. I'll just look into it. The incentive, the monetary part of it, I'll just look into.
Because from what I understand, it's largely an awareness program. There's a very little incentive component to this, right? Okay. One of your hobbies is that you like listening to audiobooks. It's a fantastic hobby. What is the last audiobook you were hearing, or have you been hearing recently?
Sir, $1 Billion Spy by David E. Hoffman was the last.
And what is it about?
It is about a Russian era espionage, sir. In the heart of Russia, there is an engineer named Adolf Tokachev.
And what app do you use to listen to these audiobooks?
Audible, sir.
Audible.
From
Audible is owned by
Amazon.
Now, is there any regulatory framework or are there any plagiarism, copyright challenges with audiobooks?
Recently, sir, there was a Amazon AudioGate scandal that was there a couple of years back. And the main scandal regarding that was that even though the books were released, and the original writers of the book were not paid adequately. This was a issue that was raised in 2015, sir. Since then, I think that was the last issue, if I can recall.
Are there any good Indian books which are there in an audio format?
Sir, recently, sir, I read a book named Indomitable by Arundhati Bhattacharya, where she goes on to highlight her issues which she faced as a SBI PO, then rising up to the ranks of chairperson.
Was it narrated with an Indian accent or an American accent?
No, sir, it was narrated with an Indian accent. The reader was Indian.
Last question to you. One of your hobbies is reflective writing. Is it the same thing as journaling?
No, sir. Generally, what I do is that, sir, in reflective writing, I try to put down my thoughts on particular issue. It might not be it is not very factual, sir, but what I personally feel about any issue or anything of that sort.
And if it is okay with you sharing with the board, and it's only if it's okay with you, what was the last thing that you reflected upon? What was the last idea that affected you?
So my younger brother is going to Chennai for his education, and he is just traveling a couple of days back. Then he was of the view that you have lived in Chennai for quite some time.
7 years.
Yeah. So what is that I should do? Well, you went there, you learned the language, you did everything, you had so many friends. So what should I? So I was just reflecting upon my 7 years so that I could provide him with a feedback of.
To that, my final question. So Chennai is the newer name of Madras. Is it High Court of Chennai or High Court of Madras?
Madras.
And is it IIT Chennai or IIT Madras?
IIT Madras.
Why?
Sir, generally, in my experience, I found that people did associate themselves with Madras, and
but if you're changing the name of a city, then why aren't you changing the name of the institutions of the city? Is it High Court of Bombay or High Court of Mumbai?
Mumbai High Court. Bombay High Court.
Bombay High Court.
Yes, sir.
Is it Allahabad High Court or Prayagraj High Court?
Allahabad High Court.
Is it University of Bombay or University of Mumbai?
University of Bombay, I think.
No, it's
Mumbai. University of Bombay.
Why is that? Why do you have such disparities?
I think, sir, it is quite natural that an institution wants to maintain its originality. We also have Banaras Hindu University rather than Varanasi Hindu University, sir. So, I think that, sir, whatever an institution
So
should.
that's because they're owned by the center. IIT Madras is a centrally owned institution.
That is.
The center has the powers to change the name of the High Court. The state has no role.
Okay.
That is. Thank you.
Okay, so Utsav, we'll take you back outside for a few moments. We'll bring you back again for our feedback. Okay.
Thanks.
Have a seat, Utsav. Utsav, when is your interview date?
13th May, sir.
13th May, you have a lot of time. Okay. Okay, so tell us, how do you think you fared at the interview this time? This mock interview?
I think I was a bit nervous, sir. So fumble was there a little bit. And then there was also tension little bit, I felt. And a smile, as sir pointed out, I think it was
It was
too.
incredibly nice.
That's one of your assets.
What was your essay?
Well, let me tell you, Utsav, you have performed admirably well. Very good. And I would spell out certain things which are in your favor. You took good amount of time, reasonable time in coming out with answer. So you did not jump at the answer. You thought about it. You allowed it to churn inside your head and then come out with a cogent answer, which is a very good strength. So that was mental alertness and analytically examining the pros and cons inside you. So critical power of assimilation, mental alertness, both were there. You were very clear and very logical in your expositions. So the answers were very crystal clear. Your knowledge was very good about Varanasi or about many other things which we asked you. Then I could see that there was a depth of interest. So from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, you knew practically everything. At the same time, you are very polite, very humble, and that again was a quality. Except one thing, that you can be slightly louder and more energy. That will, even be better.
Sure.
But otherwise, you were very good. The clarity of thought was there, and you appeared very confident. And even though sometimes the questions which we are asked, they appear to be controversial or provocative, but you did not, waver, and you were able to come out very good, very well. So all these things go in your favor. Communication skills are absolutely fine. Articulation skills. Your one thing which I would notice was, when the question was asked, so you were only looking towards the person who has asked the question. In between, scanning here and there would also be better.
Sure, sir.
Most of the time, 80% you can have eye contact with the panelist. Remaining time, you just scan. Then coming to the questions about Varanasi, absolutely fine. You were able to come out very well with the answers. And except that Kabir I had mentioned, Baki, rest Tulsidas you mentioned, and Sarnath you mentioned, and Shankaracharya, all those things. About prohibition also, the ill effects, etc., you came out with very cogent, very logical answers. About COVID, the children, so you can read more about COVID, which were the people who were affected, the mental illnesses which came as a result of COVID, the depression, all those things, you can read about that. And many questions can come on COVID, vaccine Maitri, COVID Maitri, vaccine passport, many new terms had come at that point of time. And IPS second preference to the Acts laws, that you can study in greater detail. Because as a police officer, which are the Acts laws you will be using on a day-to-day basis, that is not merely Criminal Procedure Code or IPC, but that is practically, there are so many acts. So for women, for children, for senior citizens, and many other disadvantaged, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, go through acts. You have a lot of time at your disposal. And you are right now working.
No, sir. I'm not.
Now you are not working.
I was working for last 2020, but now I'm not.
Now, so you have time at your side. So you can always devote a lot of. So improve the some of the areas where this, and they will add on to your knowledge. As it is, your presentation style is absolutely fine. And then of course, so many festivities. The question on festivities also you answered very well. And for women, which are the schemes that, as I said, you need to study. And triple talaq also was fine. And difference between hurricane, the different hazards and natural calamities. Then Alaska, that information, you gave the correct information. Here you did not remember, doesn't matter. It's not possible to remember everything, but you came out with the answer. 2014, yeah, that was. And Crimea, that question was asked. So now coming to the some of the other things, that about orphans, you see that issue question about orphans. The Hindu Child Adoption Act, which is HAMA, Hindu Adoption Act. So, and Kara, you can study that. Recently, that amendment was made in the HAMA, that the district magistrate is authorized to to approve the adoption. And then the example about judicial activism and overreach. So the first two were fine. Third one, adventurism, perhaps a better example would be, the oxygen cylinder, the order was passed by, and that was done on a suo motu basis also. So, and then incentives for the incentives for women, Beti Bachao. So all schemes, so Ujjwala Yojana and Beti Bachao, all these schemes which are there for women, for children, you should. Audiobook, prepare one audiobook very, very well, so that if they ask you, you can give answer to that. And then regulatory mechanism for in respect of the audio, that was question was asked. And then Indian books, are there in Indian books? So you mentioned about Arundhati Roy. And then of course reflective writing, your thoughts. So everything is fine. One or two areas where we will, I will just now tell you, is that you must prepare very well regarding the district administration, how it works. And at the district administration level, what are the duties of the collector? So in terms of revenue administration, magisterial function, elections, then public policies of the various sectors, and coordination between various departments. So if you go to one particular office, you'll be able to understand that. That's about it. Constitution, you should read article by article. That will give you a fairly good idea about everything in polity, whatever happens there. That again, not many questions. Economics, you must prepare. The budget and the recent, after COVID, the revival of the economy, that you should study. Then international relations between, so India and its neighbors, Pakistan position, then Sri Lanka position, Bangladesh, why it has progressed so well, what is the concept of gross national happiness in Bhutan, and what are the climate change issues, what are these environmental issues, United Nations agencies which are working for the overall policy making, policy decision, WHO and UNESCO, so all those agencies you should see. That's about it. And as I said, that you are very good. If you have any questions, you can ask us also.
The feedback was, I will work on it.
Yeah, you are very good and you will do exceedingly well. You don't worry. Just presence, you have a lot of presence of mind, which is also very good quality. So you could think while standing on your legs, because and always prepare the answer with depth, so that if the second question comes on the same, you are able to answer, third supplementary, and so on. So so finally, the place to which you belong, Patna, is the place you were born.
Yes, sir.
So Patna, the Bihar, Patna, that you will prepare, and then Uttar Pradesh also. So you, about ease of doing business also, you came out very well about that also. What are the steps taken by, so the social parameters and other parameters of Uttar Pradesh, and the culture and the agriculture and the crops, the industries, all these things you should do. And then of course your mechanical engineering, you have to prepare on that also. And one of the panelists may be from having engineering degree, and rest of course your hobbies you have already done. I think that should take care of everything. Okay. All the best to you.
Wish you good luck. All the best.
Welcome.
Thank
We'd like to see you there, getting selected. I mean, scoring.
Unanimous opinion that you're the best candidate. I'm very happy. Don't be nervous.
Go with a smiling face and a very confident outlook that you will make it.
You lit our moods off on a hot sunny afternoon. Good luck.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.